What if the thing stopping you from becoming successful is not your situation, your luck, or other people? What if the biggest battle you're fighting is happening inside your own mind? Because every time you say, I'll change, but fall back into the same habits, procrastinating, overthinking, and doubting yourself, there's something deeper going on. The crazy part? The version of you holding you back might not be your enemy. It might be the part of you trying to protect you. Brianna Wiest explains that the biggest obstacle in your life isn't something outside of you. The mountain you're trying to climb is you. Let's get into it. Concept 1. Self-sabotage, the hidden reason you stay stuck. Have you ever noticed that you are sometimes the biggest obstacle in your own life? You want success. You want growth. You want to become better. But somehow, you keep doing things that move you away from your goals. You procrastinate. You overthink. You avoid taking action. And then you ask yourself, why do I keep stopping myself? This is called self-sabotage. And the mountain is you. Brianna Wiest explains that self-sabotage is not always about wanting to fail. Many times, it is your mind trying to protect you from something uncomfortable. For example, imagine someone wants to start a business. They have the idea. They have the skills. They know what steps to take. But when it's time to actually begin, fear appears. What if I fail? What if people judge me? What if I'm not good enough? So they delay. They keep learning. They keep planning. But they never start. From outside, it looks like laziness. But deep inside, it can be fear protecting them from rejection or failure. The important lesson is, your negative patterns are not random. They are messages. Your procrastination, excuses, and avoidance are showing you something deeper about your fears and beliefs. Instead of only asking, how do I stop this habit? Ask, why am I doing this? What is this behavior trying to protect me from? Because real change starts when you understand yourself. You cannot defeat a pattern you don't understand. The first step to climbing your mountain is realizing the mountain was inside you all along. Concept 2. Your problems are symptoms. Find a root cause. Most people try to fix their problems from the outside. They say, I need more motivation. I need more discipline. I need to stop procrastinating. But the mountain is you teaches a deeper idea. Your visible problems are often just symptoms of something happening inside you. Think about a person who keeps choosing the wrong relationships. They might think, why do I always meet the same type of people? But the deeper question is, why do I keep accepting the same pattern? Maybe there's an old belief about love, acceptance, or worth that is influencing their choices. The same thing happens in other areas of life. Someone may want success, but constantly avoid opportunities. Someone may want confidence, but keep comparing themselves to others. Someone may want change, but keep returning to the same habits. The mistake people make is attacking the behavior without understanding the reason behind it. It is like removing the smoke without checking the fire. The smoke will keep coming back. Your habits, reactions, and repeated choices are clues. They show you what needs attention. The goal is not to judge yourself. The goal is to understand yourself. When you understand why you act a certain way, you get the power to choose differently. Because personal growth is not about fighting yourself. It is about becoming aware of yourself. And once you find the root cause, you can finally start changing the pattern. Concept 3. Resistance. Why you run away from growth. Have you ever wanted something badly, but when the opportunity came, you suddenly felt uncomfortable? You wanted to start. You wanted to improve. You wanted to move forward. But something inside said, not now. This is resistance. In the book, Brianna Wiest explains that resistance often appears when something important is changing in your life. For example, you finally get a chance to create something meaningful. You finally meet people who support your growth. You finally start building the life you wanted. But instead of feeling excited, you feel fear, doubt, or stress. Why? Because your brain is comfortable with what it already knows. Even a better future can feel scary if it is unfamiliar. Imagine someone who has always been afraid of failure. They get a big opportunity. Instead of taking action, they start finding reasons why it won't work. Not because they don't want success, but because success requires becoming a new version of themselves. The solution is not forcing yourself harder. It is understanding what the resistance is trying to show you. Ask, what am I afraid will happen if I actually succeed? What belief is stopping me from moving forward? Resistance is not always a sign to quit. Sometimes it is a sign that you're standing at the edge of growth. Concept 4, upper limit. Why you sometimes sabotage good things. Have you ever achieved something you wanted, but instead of feeling happy, you suddenly felt uncomfortable? Maybe you got a new opportunity. Maybe you started improving. Maybe things were finally going well. But then something changed. You started doubting yourself. You created problems. You lost momentum. This is what the book explains as your upper limit. Your upper limit is the level of happiness, success, or positive change that you feel comfortable accepting. The problem is, sometimes your mind is more comfortable with familiar struggles than unfamiliar success. For example, someone works hard and finally starts earning more money. But instead of managing it wisely, they start making careless decisions and return to the same old situation. Why? Because having more feels unfamiliar. The old version of them knows how to survive struggle, but the new version needs to learn how to handle growth. This happens because humans naturally seek comfort, and anything outside your comfort zone can feel risky. The solution is not to reject success. It is to slowly expand what feels normal for you. Allow yourself to experience better things. Allow yourself to believe that growth is safe. Because sometimes the next level of your life is not blocked by your ability. It is blocked by your ability to accept it. Concept 5, limiting beliefs. The story you tell yourself. One of the biggest things controlling your life is not your situation. It is the story you believe about yourself. Your beliefs shape your actions. If you believe, I am not capable, I am not good enough, I am not someone who succeeds, you will naturally make choices that match that identity. The problem is that many beliefs are created from old experiences. Maybe one failure made you think you are not talented. Maybe one rejection made you think you are not worthy. Maybe someone's opinion became your own opinion about yourself. But a belief is not always the truth. It is just an idea your mind accepted. Imagine two people facing the same challenge. One thinks, this is proof I can't do it. The other thinks, this is something I can learn from. Same situation, different belief, different outcome. Changing your life requires changing the way you see yourself, because your actions usually follow your identity. When you start seeing yourself as someone who learns, improves, and grows, your decisions start changing. The goal is not to create a fake version of yourself. It is to remove the old beliefs that are stopping the real version of you from growing. Concept 6, emotional processing. Understand your emotions. Don't run from them. A lot of people think emotions are something they need to control or ignore. They say, I shouldn't feel this way. I need to stop thinking about it. I just need to move on. But avoiding emotions does not make them disappear. In The Mountain Is You, Brianna Wiest explains that when we cannot process our emotions properly, we often avoid situations that could help us grow because we are afraid of uncomfortable feelings. Someone receives criticism. Instead of understanding why it affected them, they immediately become defensive or avoid the situation. But the real question is, why did this hurt me so much? Maybe it connects to an old insecurity. Maybe it reminds you of a past experience. Maybe it reveals something you need to work on. Emotions are not always enemies. They are information. They show you what matters to you. The process is simple. First, understand what happened. Second, accept what you feel. Third, decide what change you need to make. Growth does not mean never feeling fear, sadness, or frustration. Growth means learning how to handle those emotions without letting them control your decisions. Because when you understand your emotions, you stop being controlled by them. Concept 7, perfectionism. Why waiting for perfect stops you. Many people are not failing because they lack talent. They are failing because they are waiting for the perfect moment. They want the perfect plan, the perfect skill, the perfect result. But perfectionism can become a hidden form of self-sabotage. The book explains that perfectionism creates unrealistic expectations and stops people from showing up and doing the work. Imagine someone who wants to start creating videos. They think, my first video needs to be amazing. So they keep delaying. They watch more tutorials. They buy better equipment. They keep preparing. Months pass, and they still have nothing to show. The problem is not that they care about quality. The problem is that fear of being imperfect is stopping progress. Every successful person started as a beginner. The first attempt is not supposed to be the final version. You improve by doing. You learn from mistakes. You become better through repetition. Instead of asking, how can I make this perfect? Ask, how can I make this better than yesterday? Progress creates mastery, but perfectionism keeps you stuck at the starting line. Concept 8. Taking responsibility. Turning awareness into action. Knowing your problems is important, but awareness alone does not change your life. A lot of people know exactly what they need to fix. They know they need better habits. They know they need to take action. They know what is holding them back, but they stay in the same place. Why? Because knowing and doing are two different things. In The Mountain Is You, Brianna Wiest explains that your life is ultimately shaped by your outcomes, not only your intentions. You can have good intentions. You can have big plans. You can tell yourself, I'm going to change. I'm going to start tomorrow. I'm going to become better. But the question is, did you actually do it? Imagine someone who wants to get healthier. They watch videos. They make plans. They talk about their goals, but they never change their daily actions. The desire is there, but the results are missing. Real transformation starts when you stop making excuses and start taking responsibility for your choices. This does not mean blaming yourself for everything. It means understanding. My future is created by what I choose repeatedly. Small actions create big changes. One productive decision today. One better habit tomorrow. One uncomfortable step forward. That is how you rebuild yourself. The mountain becomes smaller when you stop running from it and start climbing it. Because self-mastery is not becoming a different person overnight. It is becoming someone who keeps showing up for themselves. Your biggest transformation begins when you understand these 8 lessons. Self-sabotage shows you what is holding you back. Your patterns reveal what needs healing. Resistance shows where growth is waiting. Your upper limit shows what you are ready to expand. Your beliefs shape the person you become. Your emotions guide your awareness. Progress beats perfection, and responsibility turns knowledge into real change. The mountain is not something you defeat. It is something you climb until you become stronger. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next summary.